day. Looks like the live is coming up. Excellent. Hey, it's Amanda from, well, here. So I was doing some reading last week, and that seemed to really be received well. So I thought I'd come back and do another chapter. I was reading through the chapter from Florence Shin's book, and I wanted to take pieces from it, and I thought just breaking it down was not as effective. And today we're talking about the game, and specifically the game is the game of life. So we'll go through and read this, and I know you're going to get exactly what you need from it today, and so will I. Okay, here we go. I might stop here and there and maybe interject something. We'll see where we get to. So this is from her book, The Game of Life and How You Play It, and the first chapter, the game. Most people consider life a battle, but it's not a battle, it's a game. It's a game, however, which cannot be played successfully without the knowledge of spiritual law and the Old and New Testaments. Give the rules of the game with wonderful clearness. Jesus Christ taught that it was a great game of giving and receiving. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. This means whatever a man sends out in the world or deed will return to him. What he gives, he will receive. If he gives hate, he will receive hate. If he gives love, he will receive love. If he gives criticism, he will receive criticism. If he lies, he will be lied to. If he cheats, he will be cheated. We are taught also that the imaging faculty, basically our imagination, faculty plays a leading part in the game of life. Keep thy heart, and in brackets here it says, or imagination, with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. And that's from Proverbs 4:23. This means that man images sooner or later externalizes in his affairs. I know of a man who feared a certain disease. And this, I think, is very crucial for anything that you put in its place. I know of a man who feared a certain disease. It was a very rare disease and difficult to get, but he pictured it continually and read about it until it manifested in his body, and he died, the victim of distorted imagination. So we see, to play successfully the game of life, we must train the imaging faculty. A person with the imaging faculty trained to imagine only good brings into his life every righteous desire of his heart: health, wealth, love, friends, perfect self-expression, his highest ideals. The imagination has been called the scissors of the mind, and it is ever cutting day by day the pictures man sees there, and sooner or later he meets his own creations in his outer world. To train the imagination successfully, man must understand the workings of his mind. The Greeks said, "Know thyself." There are three departments of the mind: the subconscious, conscious, and superconscious. The subconscious is simply power without direction. It is like a steam or electricity, and it does what it's directed to do. It has no power of induction. Whatever man feels deeply or images clearly is impressed upon the subconscious mind and carried out in the minutest detail. For example, a woman I know when a child always made believe she was a widow. Oh my goodness, let me try that again. A woman I know when a child always made believe she was a widow. She dressed up in black clothes and wore a long black veil, and people thought she was very clever and amusing. She grew up and married a man with whom she was deeply in love. In a short time he died, and she wore black and a sweeping veil for many years. The picture of herself as a widow was impressed upon her subconscious mind, and in due time worked itself out, regardless of the havoc created. The conscious mind has been called mortal or carnal mind. It is the human mind and sees life as it appears to be. It sees death, disaster, sickness, poverty, and limitation of every kind, and it impresses the subconscious. The superconscious mind is the God mind within each man, and is a realm of perfect ideas. In it, the perfect pattern spoken by Plato, the divine design, for there is a divine design for each person. There is a place that you are filled and no one else can fill. something you are to do, which no one else can do. There is a perfect picture of this in the superconscious mind. It usually flashes across the conscious as an unattainable idea, something too good to be true. In reality is man's true destiny or destination, flashed to him from the infinite intelligence which is within himself. And to me, that's basically our unconscious mind is speaking to us. Often when we maybe are asking ourselves a question or are asked a question, we have the first thing that comes to us seems illogical or doesn't make sense. That is your unconscious mind. And it's something that I've done many times. I've also edited what came to me and thought, that's not the best answer, or it's not, again, it doesn't make sense. This is where, if you really tap into that and trust what's coming to you, that is where a lot of your answers can really lie. Even if it doesn't make sense, going with the hunch, as we read last week, can really, I think, direct you in the way you need to go or want to go. Okay, in reality, it is man's true destiny. I said this already. Many people, however, are in ignorance of their true destinies and are striving for things and situations which do not belong to them and would only bring failure and dissatisfaction if attained. For example, a woman came to me and asked me to speak the word, that she would marry a certain man with whom she very much loved. She called him A.B. I replied that this would be a violation of spiritual law, that I would speak the word for the right man, the divine selection, the man who belonged to her by divine right. I added, if AB is the right man, you can't lose him, and if he isn't, you will receive his equivalent. She saw AB frequently, but no headway was made in the friendship. One evening, she called and said, do you know, for the last week, AB hasn't seemed so wonderful to me. I replied, maybe he is not the divine selection. Another man may be the right one. Soon after that, she met another man who fell in love with her at once, and who she said was his ideal. In fact, he said all the things that she had always wished AB would say to her. She remarked, it's quite uncanny. She soon returned his love and lost all interest in AB. This is showing the law of substitution. A right idea was substituted for a wrong one. Therefore, there was no loss or sacrifice involved. Jesus Christ said, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. And he said the kingdom was within man, was it within us. The kingdom is the realm of right ideas, or the divine pattern. Jesus Christ taught the man's words played a leading part in the game of life. I'm going to read that one again. Jesus Christ taught that man's words played a leading part in the game of life. By your words ye are justified, and by your words ye are condemned. Anyone out there? Is this hitting home yet? My goodness. By your words ye are justified, and by your words ye are condemned. Many people have brought disaster into their lives through idle words. For example, a woman once asked me why her life was now one of poverty and limitation. Formerly, she had a home, was surrounded by beautiful things, and had plenty of money. We found that she had often tired of management of her home, and had said repeatedly, I'm sick and tired of things. I wish I lived in the trunk. And she added, today I'm living in that trunk. She had spoken herself into a trunk. The subconscious mind has no sense of humor, and people often joke themselves into unhappy experiences. Is any of that resonating for anyone out there? Is that landing? Can you hear yourself or someone else saying something similar to this? I'm sure you can, because I can as well. Okay, and for example, a woman who had a great deal of money joked continually about getting ready for the poorhouse. In a few years, she was almost destitute, having impressed the subconscious mind with a picture of lack and limitation. Fortunately, the law works both ways, and a situation of lack may be changed to one of plenty. For example, a woman came to me one hot summer's day for a treatment of prosperity. She was worn out, dejected, and discouraged. She said she possessed just $8 in the world. I said, good, we'll bless the $8 and multiply them, as Jesus Christ multiplied the loaves and the fishes. For he taught us that every man had the power to bless and to multiply, to heal and to prosper. She said, "What shall I do next?" I replied, "Follow intuition. Have you a hunch?" The hunch that I mentioned. Have you a hunch to do anything or go anywhere? Intuition means intuition, or to be taught from within. I want to read that one again too. Intuition means intuition, or to be taught from within. It is man's unerring guide, and I will deal more fully with its laws in following chapters. The woman replied, "I don't know. I seem to have a hunch to go home. I've just enough money for car fare." Her home was in the distant city and was one of lack and limitation. And the reasoning mind, or intellect, would have said, "Stay in New York and get work and make money." And I replied, "Then go home. Never violate a hunch." I spoke the following words for her. Infinite Spirit, open the way for great abundance, for she is an irresistible magnet for all that belongs to her by divine right. I told her to repeat it continually also. She left for home immediately. In calling on a woman one day, she linked up with an old friend of her family. Through this friend, she received thousands of dollars in a most miraculous way. She has said to me often, "Tell people about the woman who came to you with $8 and a hunch." There is always plenty on man's pathway, but it can only be brought into manifestation through desire, faith, or the spoken word. Jesus Christ brought out clearly that man must make the first move. Ask and it shall be given you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock, ye shall find. My goodness. Ask and it shall be given you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. That's Matt 7:7. In the scriptures we read, "Concerning the works of my hands, command ye me." Infinite intelligence. God is ever ready to carry out man's smallest or greatest demands. Every desire uttered or expressed is a demand. We are often startled by having a wish suddenly fulfilled. For example, one Easter, having seen many beautiful rose trees in the florist windows, I wished I would receive one, and for an instant I saw it mentally being carried in the door. Easter came, and with it, a beautiful rose tree. I thanked my friend the following day and told her it was just what I had wanted. She replied, "I didn't send you a rose tree, I sent you lilies." The man had mixed the order, and she sent me a rose tree simply because I had started the law of action. I had to have the rose tree. Nothing stands between man and his highest ideals, and every desire of his heart, but doubt and fear. When man can wish without worrying, every desire will be instantly fulfilled. I will explain more fully in a following chapter the scientific reason for this and how fear must be erased from the consciousness. It is man's only enemy: fear of lack, fear of failure, fear of sickness, fear of loss, and a feeling of insecurity on some plane. Jesus Christ said, "Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith?" Matt 8:26. So we can see we must substitute faith for fear, for fear is only inverted faith. It is faith in evil instead of good. The object of the game of life is to see one's good and to obliterate all mental pictures of evil. This must be done by impressing the subconscious mind with a realization of good. A very brilliant man who has attained great success told me that he had suddenly erased all fear from his consciousness by reading a sign which hung in his room. He saw printed in large letters this statement: "Why worry? It will probably never happen." These words were stamped indelibly upon his subconscious mind, and he is now a firm conviction that only good can come into his life, therefore only good can manifest. In the following chapter, I will deal with different methods of impressing the subconscious mind. It is man's faithful servant, but one must be careful to give it the right orders. Man has ever a silent listener at his side, his subconscious mind. Every thought, every word is impressed upon it and carried out in amazing detail. It's like a singer making a record out of a sensitive disc at the phonographic plate. Every note and tone of the singer's voice is registered. If he coughs or hesitates, it is also registered. So let us break all the bad records in the subconscious mind, the records of our lives, which we do not wish to keep, and make new and beautiful ones. Speak the words aloud with power and conviction. I now smash and demolish every untrue record in my subconscious mind. They shall return to the dust heap of their native nothingness, for they came from my own vain imaginings. I now make my perfect records through the Christ within, the records of health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. This is the square of life, the game completed. And that's pretty much it. In the following chapters, I will show how man can change his conditions by changing his words. Any man who does not know the power of the word is behind the times. And there's a quote here from the Bible: death and life are in the power of the tongue. And that's kind of where I'm going to leave it because I have to go to another call. Hopefully you got something from that was very meaningful for you today. How we use words and what we say to ourselves is very, very important. And if you want to dig any deeper on this and maybe you've got something that's holding you back, there's limiting belief, I actually have a mini breakthrough that I'm offering everyone for $197. It's normally $500. And if you're interested in that, just send me a message and we can chat further. For now, hope you enjoyed that chapter from Florence Shinn, and perhaps we'll come back and do some more another time.